Crazy Asian Vlog. Here we are starting on Allen Austin. Sarah and I were invited to be able to come here with a bunch of folks for a couple hours, so it should be a great time. Leadership, engagement, a little bit of networking. Always look for ways to get better. All right, here we are, everybody. Crazy Asian Vlog here, Friday. Gonna dive in right when I sit down, shooting out messages in LinkedIn for some recruiting positions out in Miami and New York. Got to reach out to operations guy to be able to see who's another position that we're looking for as well. He had made mention of that last night. And then yesterday had a good interview with a couple folks and be able to establish out our onboarding process. So as you recruit, that's the next evolution, right? You have your process of recruiting, and now you want to start establishing a better way of bringing people on, training, developing them, getting them up to speed, your systems, your processes, people to go to. So that's the next evolution. So I was working on that yesterday with a couple of folks, just in phone calls. We're using a specific example of someone that we're bringing on, but then you can just take a step back and go, okay, hey, what's our process overall? So let's button that up and tighten it. So that way we know from start to finish, we're thinking of hiring somebody all the way to now that person's here, what does it look like? Their first week, their first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. So that way we can get them trained and developed, because we're excited about them through the interviewing process, and we should be able to continue to keep that excitement going if we have the right onboarding process. What are your thoughts? Trips out. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you're doing great. Hope you had a great weekend. It's busy. And going out to Dallas, up to Dallas, actually visiting my wife there with the fam. So I'll tell you a little bit about that because it caused. Let's see, haven't slept yet. So it's been a long weekend. Hey, Crazy Asian Vlog Tuesday. Hope you're doing great. Down here, this is the George R. Brown Convention Center. I'm meeting here in Grotto in a restaurant for Rotary. So one of the agents here, Jason, is a member, and so he invited me, and so I said, hey, sure, I'd love to be able to come and mix and mingle, and that's important, right? So constantly looking at people to add into your network, relationships to continue to build, and some of that might be supporting your team. So if you're in a leadership role, being able to take a step away from your roles and responsibilities and be able to support your team in what they're involved in, whether it's a nonprofit, charitable organization, BNI group, chamber, being able to do that, to be able to help them have more value is extremely powerful. Let's go to Grotto. Hey there, Crazy Asian. Productive day. Was able to get a lot of outreach in on LinkedIn, looking at different positions from producers to staff in our just different markets. Really setting the sights on Miami and also New York City right now. Still got a lot of outreach to go. Just a new thing to do. Kind of added it in, and then was able to have some good training on LinkedIn. Really enjoyed that. I was able to record it, so we'll get it out to the team as well. Being able to, look at, LinkedIn being a, professional website or platform, social media style, but then make sure that you're posting, setting yourself up as a subject matter experts, using the strategies of posting, tagging individuals you think that might find that post beneficial, using the hashtag to be able to make those searchable, and then being able to be consistent and being able to put those posts out. And then finally, the last thing is engagement. Getting below in the comments section, getting to notifications, anniversaries, birthdays, promotions. That's powerful. Staying connected in your network, keeping that network alive. So then finish off showing them the search functionality, using the filters, and that's all on the non-paid version of LinkedIn. So we'll see if it's well received. Really on conversations with the folks I have over the next day or two, leveraging tech, and hope you're all doing great. Turns out. Hey everybody, happy Friday, Crazy Asian Vlog. Very productive day. Sorry I didn't get a chance to be able to dive into this, but start with the morning here. really, I actually started off the morning listening to audiobooks, and then after about a half hour, dove into Zoom. It was with one of our carriers, insurance carriers. Again, just keeping in touch with what they're working on and what they're doing. And then after that, Zoom, it was jumping into one-on-ones. And really, it was being able to utilize a new tool we're using for our CRM, our client retention tool, if you will. We're utilizing HubSpot. And so it was, sometimes with new tools, it can be a little bit overwhelming. And so instead of being like, hey, go play on it, go work on it, we're salespeople. So we're typically wired to just keep going at something. And so organization typically isn't a strong suit of ours. And so being able to dive into HubSpot, it can be a little bit difficult. So instead of, saying, hey, go play on it and wait for it, it was, let's sit down with each one of them and have just a 30-minute conversation, give them like one thing to work with, and then follow back up with them. So it was a very productive meetings, but it went from like back to back to back to back. And then I had a joint meeting with one of the agents as well, and so we were able to talk about a particular situation. One of the things that came up from that, though, was interesting was here was a connection of the agents, and she had put out a post on LinkedIn about what she does, and this person who she probably hasn't talked to in many, many years, she's here in Houston, he's actually in Southern California, was like, hey, me and my wife would love to be able to talk to you because our circumstances have changed and see what we should be doing for ourselves. And so all of a sudden that social media presence has validity. And so there's a lot of value to be able to hold yourself out as a subject matter expert. It doesn't mean you'll be the number one in the country, it doesn't mean you'll be the best in the world, it just means that you have value to people that would want to work with you. So, what are you doing in that regard? Turns out. Hey there, Crazy Agent Vlog. Got here to the office, first one in, which is always exciting. So just as a point of context, I ended up, I teach a youth Bible study class, and so sometimes I'll come up, so it goes from 5:45 to 6:45. So sometimes after that, I'll do drop-off duty for one of our sons. If not, then I'll just come straight from there. It's right to the office, and so a lot of times when I come that way, then it's a little bit faster. And then one of the things I'm leveraging is ChatGPT for creating. Sorry, let me give a little bit of context. So Dan, the managing partner here, Chief Growth Officer, had sent me a podcast to listen to, and so I was jamming to that on the way in. It was about Chris Voss, FBI negotiator, in a podcast, so really fascinating to be able to kind of hear his thoughts. And then was listening to that as I'm driving in, got down, sat down, so putting together some of the key things that I want to get accomplished for today. And the thing that's really helpful for a lot of people that have just this ever-growing laundry list of to-dos, if you will, in your role and your responsibilities. And so I was able to complete that, just kind of putting it together. But one of the things I wanted to dive into was having a campaign in LinkedIn. So one of the things that we enrolled into was the corporate recruiter through LinkedIn, and then also got connected this AI, if you will, of Connected. And so what it does is it sends out 4 different messages or 5 different messages, whatever we want, and we pick the time zone of that outreach and connecting with people. And so it has like a program to it. So I can say, hey, I'm looking for life insurance producers, and then on it'll go. And then I can do one maybe for employee benefit producers in Miami, and on it'll go. And so what I'm doing is I'm leveraging ChatGPT to be able to refine some different messages. I'm tweaking it right now, taking the time to edit it, and then I'm going to send it to the team to get their input on it. I find that to be really helpful when you kind of look at things, is don't get stuck only living in your own echo chamber or your own mind. Leverage your team and get their thoughts, get their input, apply it where it makes sense. It's kind of like the feedback loop for me is the Cinderella method. If the shoe fits, wear it. If not, then just throw it out. So when you're asking people's opinions, I want to listen to your opinion. Doesn't mean I have to follow it. So know how people are leveraging ChatGPT. Been using it as well for job descriptions, as we're creating some job descriptions out there for different positions, W-2 and also our 1099 contractors. And so on we'll go. Oh yeah, no. So what I was saying was, when it comes to networking, you want to make sure that you're going out and you're asking about them. Let them talk first, and that way you're able to then adjust your response based on what they tell you, right? So if that person tells you that they work with business owners and that's their, their ultimate person that they want to talk to and network with, then you want to be able to adjust. Even though you can work with a variety of different people, focus on working with business owners, because then they can see the commonality, and then there's opportunity to go back and forth. Sound good? Hey there, Crazy Asian Vlog. Very productive day. Had a lot going on there. Was able to, had some interviews there via the Zoom, phone calls. Was putting together the onboarding recruiting process for our firm as we continue to hone in on our process. So that was really productive. So kind of give you a lay of the land. Recruiting was typically done, however you saw fit. Okay, so whatever your needs were, you just hired wherever the location was, and so that works. But it's that old adage: what got you here won't get you there. So as you look at overall talent, how are we going to be able to bring on our top talent? How are we going to be able to bring on people that we haven't hired before, or might be hiring for somebody that's like a lateral position to where I am, or might be even hiring somebody that's above my skill set. And so how do we go about that? So for us, what we decided to do was dive in on the LinkedIn Corporate Recruiter, and also number 2 was Connected, this app that allows some automation and some customization with that, but it allows us to be able to reach out and touch those people, because ultimately what we're looking for is what's considered a passive candidate, those individuals that aren't necessarily looking, but when presented with the right opportunity might be open to a conversation. So that's ultimately who we're looking for, and that's going to be a different conversation, because we're looking for somebody that wants to run towards something instead of run away from something. And then let's see, what was the other question that someone had asked? So besides our recruiting, one of the things that we focus in on is the onboarding. So the moment that someone's with our firm, what's the next step? So right now we're big into like putting together playbooks, as we kind of talked about, and that just goes along with our sports theme. And so the recruiting playbook that we created was, okay, from nuts to bolts, you're now a hiring manager. What's the hiring process? What's that look like? You want to hire somebody. Number 2 is, now that somebody's on board, or they said yes, they start, what's their first day? What's that training and development look like to be able to get them up to speed? So hopefully that's helpful. Sherm's out.
Time is ticking, it's now or never. I know I gotta make a change, it's for the better. The only way we gon' grow on our own endeavor. We just tryna live our dreams, but they won't let us.